Okay, I call this meeting to order at 2 p.m. All right, Bertha, we can start with the land acknowledgement.
Yeah. Okay, so before we start our meeting today, I would like to recite the land acknowledgement to remind us that we are in a land grab, not land grant. Associated Students Incorporation at Sacramento State would like to take a moment to give honor and respect to their ancestors and to the diverse indigenous people connected to this territory on which we meet. The original stewards of this land belong to the Nittany, Pakwin, and Miwok Native Americans. Keep them in your mind and carry them in your hearts, and we ask that you take a moment to consider your ancestors and your relationships to the land we are on. Thank you.
Okay, Natalie, if you can lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please stand. Put your right hand over your heart. Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Natalie, do we have a moment of silence?
Yes. So a student, his name is Christian Hernandez, passed away on September 25th, 2023. Christian began at Sac State in the fall of 2018 seeking a BS in exercise science and health and fitness. So let's please take a moment. Thank you.
Okay, Harbier, if we could get the roll call.
Andrade Dominguez.
Present.
Bullis.
Here.
Varela.
Here.
Tong.
Here.
Vega Castellanos.
Here.
Hernandez Hunter.
Present.
Torres.
Here.
Aguirre.
Here.
Jobber.
Here.
Colin Vasquez.
Here.
Gani.
Here.
Jimenez.
Here.
Ambalia.
Here.
Hussein.
Here.
Abear. Curry.
Here.
Gallardo.
Here.
Wynn.
Here.
Moore.
Here.
Jackson.
Here.
Masubi.
Here.
Gill.
Here.
Dunning is not here. Atwell. And Rocha.
Here.
Okay, thank you. And if the next item is the approval of minutes for 9/27/2023 board meeting and 10/4/2023 working board meeting. If there are no objections, are there any corrections to the minutes? Okay, if there are no objections, the minutes are approved. Moving over to public comment. Members of the audience may address the board on any item within the jurisdiction of the board or any agenda item. If you wish to address the board, please sign the speaker identification sheet. When you are called upon to speak, step forward to the podium and state your name and major clearly for the record. Comments are limited to 3 minutes and the overall time is 15 minutes. Those wishing to speak on non-agenda items will be called upon at the beginning of the meeting. Those wishing to speak for or against an agenda item will be called upon after the item has been officially introduced to the board. Every agenda item will be open for public comment before the board takes formal action on the item. Okay, seeing no public comment, we'll move to our next item, the consent calendar. All of the items moving to consent calendar are 2023-24 1035, Varia, Tong, Andrade Dominguez, Financial Committee appointments. 2023-24 1036, Tong, Andrade Dominguez, University Committee appointments. 2023-24 1037, Tong, Andrade Dominguez, recommendations to the President for University Committee appointments. 2023-24 1038, Bolis, Tong, Andrade Dominguez, internal committee appointments. 2023-24 2023-24, 1039, Vega, Tong, Andrade Dominguez, Faculty Senate Committee appointments. 2023-24, 1040, Vega, Tong, Andrade Dominguez, Grade Appeal Committee appointments. If there are no objections, the consent calendar will be adopted. Okay, seeing none, the consent calendar is adopted. Now moving over to our new business. Our first item is 2023-24, 1041, Beria, Andrade Dominguez, Bolas, Operating Rule Change 200.1, Offices of the Board of Directors. Is there a motion? Sechi.
I move to approve 2023-24 1041 Baraya Andrade Dominguez Bolas Operating Rule Change 200.1 Officers of the Board of Directors.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Sechi.
So as we discussed in the working board meeting that we are adding the time requirement for the operating rule change 200.1 for the college directors in their joint council since there were no time requirements. So I'm adding at least 2 hours to ensure that they are having comprehensive engagement and discussions with their constituents. And based on the Veronica's recommendation, we are also adding for the 200.1A, the kickoff budget must be submitted to the Vice President of Finance for approval by the first week of October. So that's something we can consider in the future.
Okay, is there any other discussion? Okay, seeing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor of 2023-24 1042, Bolas Beria, Andrade Dominguez, Bolas, Operating Rule Change 200.1, Officers of the Board of Directors, please raise your hands. Okay, you can lower your hands. All those opposed, please raise your hands. All right, the item passes unanimously. Our next item is 2023-24 1042, Bolas Operating Rule Change 200.1, Officers of the Board of Directors. Is there a motion? Hashem.
I move to pass the legislation.
To approve.
To approve the legislation. Thank you.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, it has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? And if there are no objections, I'd like to switch with my vice chair so I can discuss this item. Hashem.
You wish to speak to your motion? Do you wish to speak to your motion? No? Any other discussion, Veronica?
Okay, so these changes were made to my operating rules. The first one that I made is changing it to the number 6, where the EVP shall organize at least one meet and greet event before the end of the fall semester. So I got the edits from the last meeting, so I put a timeline on there. It should be done before the end of the fall semester because there's really no point for it to be done in the spring if this is supposed to be a way for the board to meet students. And we will discuss where the funding will come from separately. The next change was I changed all of the wording that said just like directors to board members if it related to the entire board. And then I put in there, refer to section, I don't know, Roman numerals, whatever that number is, E of the ASI US bylaws to learn more about removal process. If there's another way to word that, I could reword it, but that's just me referring to the bylaws instead of putting it in there myself. The next thing The only other way I could word it is for the proper attire, under 5A, is ASI polo with proper business casual bottoms. But if there's a better way to word that, we can always amend it. And that's for working board meetings, and then business professional attire for formal board. And then proper business professional attire for formal university and community events, unless alternative attire is required. The next change was for the bulletin boards to be updated twice a semester at least for the fall and spring semesters. And then I added the 2 extra responsibilities of overseeing all the internal committees, which is already on there, but I just wanted it to be in the op roles, and then ensuring the appropriate board membership requirements are met for committees, and then tabling and presentations. And that's it.
Is there any other discussion? Okay, are we ready for the vote? All those in favor, raise your hands. All those, lower them. All those opposed? Seeing none, the measure passes. I will remain as chair. Okay, on to the next item. (2023-24) 1042 Bullis, operating rule change 200.1, officers of the board of directors. Just kidding. 2023-24 1043 Bullis, Andrade Dominguez Barria, strategic priority 3.0, promote ASI. Is there any discussion? Is there a motion? Veronica.
I move to approve 2023-24 1043 Bolos Andrade Dominguez Barria, strategic priority 3.0, promote ASI.
Second.
The motion has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Veronica.
So this is relating to a lot of our requests for tabling and getting more involved in athletic events. So we would like to take some of our strategic priority money for specifically promoting ASI to put it towards athletic events. So we are going to use it for specifically homecoming, and do like a giveaway or opportunity drawing, and then use it for some of the things we would table with to kind of create more engagement with students. And so yeah, so we're requesting up to $500 from strategic priority funding for athletic events.
Is there any other discussion? Tom?
So is this specifically for homecoming or other athletic events as well? And would 500 be enough for all athletic events? Because I think homecoming 500 will be quite enough.
Veronica?
So originally we were going to do it for all of the home games. But me and Natalie were looking at it, and we realized that it might be better to kind of put all of the money towards homecoming and kind of go all out for it. Since we will be tabling at homecoming, we're going to be involved in the parade. And so we could do bigger giveaways with that if we just put all of the 500 towards it. So we haven't decided just yet what the opportunity drawing would be, but 500 for homecoming, I think, would be a good amount.
Is there any, Alec?
Will we allocate more money for future?
Will we allocate more money for future athletic events such as the ones for volleyball or basketball or other sports as well?
Natalie?
Anyone can put in legislation and if they want to continue doing that, but we kind of wanted to focus more on homecoming since it is kind of like the biggest game of the year, and since we'll probably reach the more students through homecoming, but anyone's welcome to pitch it for other games.
Gina?
Excuse me, I like that you left that it was for athletic activity sponsorship, even though the focus will be homecoming, and you recognize that from the dollar amount. Because if there are any drawings left over, if you happen to have too much, then you have the ability to add on other athletic events after that, whether they be football or other events.
Any other discussion? Okay, seeing none, the measure will move to a vote. The measure will move to a vote. All those in favor, raise your hands. Lower them. All those opposed? All right, the measure passes. Moving on to our next one, 2023-24-1045 Hernandez Hunter, resolution in recognition of Mayor Darrell Steinberg's service to Sacramento. Oh, just kidding. 2023-24-1044 Maria Torres, Colin Vasquez, Ambalia Hussein, 3.11 strategic priority connections with commuters. Is there any discussion? Oh, motion to move. Rosa?
I move to approve 2023-24-1044 Maria Torres, Colin Vasquez, Ambalia Hussein, 3.1.1 strategic priorities connections with commuters.
Second.
The motion is moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Rosa?
Yes, so I'd like to read a little bit about sorry, it's a little too close. A little loud. I'd like to read a little bit about the purpose and recommendation for this, again, to remind us all. So per our strategic priority 3.1.1 strategic priority connections with commuters, we're planning an event as discussed in our working board with the objective of connecting with our Sac State student commuters. We'll be posted at one of the parking structures. We're still, that location is still to be determined. We're waiting for our room booking reservation to go through before we announce it formally. And we're going to be serving light morning refreshments as well as some bakery items to the students coming on campus. And for our recommendation, we are recommending for the ASI Board of Directors to provide coffee, hot chocolate bagels, and some other bakery items, supporting this event by approving the expenditure of up to $325 for the purchase of these items. In our working board, we had previously requested $300, but due to some pricing increases when we went back to Starbucks, where we will be purchasing these items from, we are now asking to allocate $325 from our strategic priority funds to buy these refreshments and bakery items, keeping in mind that we have also thought about the dietary restrictions for some of our gluten-free and dairy-free students to be able to accommodate to all so that everybody can participate. And the allocation of these funds will total up to $325 from the strategic priority funds.
Is there any other discussion? Ellen?
I believe there's a little typo in the first column. Instead of 3.1.1, it's 3.3.1. Quick fix.
All right, is there any other discussion? Okay, the measure will move to a vote. All those in favor, raise your hands. Lower them. All those opposed? All right, the measure passes. Okay, on to the next one. 2023-24-1045 Hernandez Hunter, resolution in recognition of Mayor Darrell Steinberg's service to Sacramento. Is there a motion? Christian.
I motion to approve 2023-24-1045 legislation, resolution in recognition of Mayor Darrell Steinberg's service to Sacramento.
Second.
Okay, the motion has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Christian.
I'm putting up this resolution because Mayor Steinberg is going to be retiring at the end of this term. He has served on the City Council for approximately 10 years. He's done a lot of great things in our community, such as pushing for kindergarten and after-school programs. He also was a very equitable individual who he put a bunch of money towards lower income neighborhoods, and he's done a lot of great things in our community, so I just wanted to celebrate him.
Is there any other discussion? Okay, seeing none, just kidding, Alec.
There's a typo at the City Council member, District 5, Katie Maples. Maples, there's no S.
Veronica?
So typos can be done afterwards, so you could just bring that up to the author after, and then those typos can be fixed at the end.
Sandra?
Last week I suggested including Rita Good as one of the recipients of this. I think that she should be included. So I don't know if that considers a typo or if that's a substantive edit, but I can't move to add her, so it would have to come from a board member to add her.
Hashem?
I moved to add to the
Okay. We move to add Rita Gallardo to the distribution list?
recipients.
Oh, recipients. Veronica? Is there any discussion? Okay, the amendment has been moved and seconded. So that one will move up to a vote. All right, all those in favor, raise your hands. All those opposed, lower them. Oh, just kidding. All those opposed, raise your hands now. Okay, the measure has been passed. The amendment has been passed. Now to vote for the measure. All those in favor, raise your hands. Lower them. All those opposed? Okay, the measure passes. Okay, on to move to our next item on the agenda, which is our ASI executive officers, our ex officio, and advisor reports. Is there any? Is there a motion? Okay, let's just go. We'll start with the first one, which is the president, Natalie. You have 2 minutes to talk.
Awesome. Okay, hello everyone. So I'm gonna go through this quickly. So I am on the, for internal committees, I'm on Lobby Corps, which we met on September 14th to 28th and meeting tomorrow. I also recently joined Student Marketing Outreach Committee as they are doing a hopefully relaunch of like suggestions to the website and Instagram, which I really want to be a part of. As you can see, I'm on a lot of university committees, so I'll only highlight some of the ones that have been doing some great work. So I'm on the Alumni Association board, and we met on the 9th where we discussed the upcoming Placer Center. So if you haven't heard of that project, I'll send you the PDF, but it's a really cool, essentially just like a satellite campus that's coming to Sac State, which is hoping to open the first 2 buildings in fall of 2028. I can share more about that later. And then the Police Advisory Committee, where they're going to host a forum for all Sac State community and kind of talk about the issues that students, faculty, and staff have been dealing with in the department. Also sit on the University Enterprises Inc. board, and we met on September 21st, where they discussed upcoming projects where they're doing faculty housing, student housing that is upcoming to the university, and then a lot of kind of changes that they're doing internally within the university as well. As well as the Presidential Task Force on Campus Safety. We were meeting weekly and then moved to bi-weekly, which Shaggy's the chair of, and we are having a Campus Safety Forum, which is on October 17th from 12 to 1:15 in the University Ballroom, so make sure to share that out. And then last one is the Capitol Public Radio Board of Directors. You've all seen the news about that, so I've been taking up most of my time. Some meetings and events that I've been having throughout the month of September and October. I went to the Board of Trustees meeting in Long Beach at the Chancellor's office to give public comment about the tuition increase. I also attended El Grito, the Mexican Independence Day celebration concert, which is my favorite event of the year, so I highly recommend you guys go next year. Some meetings with some campus administration, also attended the Green and Gold Speaker Series Las Cafeteras, which was probably one of my favorite events of the years. And then I ended up with one of my favorite events as well, which was a watch party for the Seal of Excelencia that we just got our recertification. Thank you. Let me know if you have any questions. And some pictures.
Would you like to add anything else?
No, I'm okay.
Does anyone else have any questions? No? All right, let's move to the next one, which would be our Executive Vice President.
Okay, so for my board report, just to start with my internal committees, I serve on Green Team, Student Social Justice and Equity Council, and Student Marketing and Outreach. So for Green Team, we're working on a lot of different projects relating to possible solar panels, working with the Office of Sustainability, water filters, things like that. And we're trying to work to see if we can have ASI be more sustainable with like different, like our plastic water bottle or the plastic cups that we have here in the board meeting. Student Social Justice and Equity Council, we're working on a survey to release out to students. And then Student Marketing and Outreach, we are kind of like revamping our ASI website, and our focus for this year will be the ASI board, so we're working on also a suggestion box to put up in different places. University committees, we haven't met yet for the AICP committee, and then the police advisory, they had a meeting, but they missed my appointment, so I wasn't there for the first meeting. And then for strategic priorities, I've contacted all of the people in my group, so we can start getting the planning together and start the work sessions for that. And then for events, meetings, and presentations, a lot of separate meetings, one-on-ones with board members. I didn't put it in here, but I went to the, is it the government? Yeah, it was honestly the highlight, I think, of this, of my semester so far. It was a really fun experience. And then also I've been doing a lot of the COSIN Title IX implementation group meetings. The block party was really fun. And then, yeah, we did a legislation training with the executive board. And then for October, we tabled a lot. And yeah. And those are my presentations and my tabling.
Would you like to add anything else? Any questions? Okay, let's move on to the next one, which is Alec Tong, our Vice President of University Affairs. You only have 1 minute and 30 seconds. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay, we'll go to Sachi, Vice President of Finance.
You have 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Hi everyone, here is my second board report as a BPF, and I'm glad to say that we made it to the week 7 and midterm seasons is here, so remember to eat, sleep and study. And jumping over my internal committees, so Finance and Budget Committee, we met last Tuesday, October 3rd, and we had the presentation from Will, which is here. And we also had a new DFA, Juan. So it was super fun. We also picked our vice chair. And the scholarship committee, we haven't met yet because scholarship is still open, which is due next Friday by 5 p.m. And I also appointed on the Student Fee Advisory Committee. So our next meeting will be next Friday for the University Committee, and then Union Wall Ink Audit Committee is done for this year. And going over the events and calendar, the major highlight is to work for the Tiger Team meeting with the President Board, where we discussed some of the financial aid and scholarship challenges, and then afterwards, President Board came up with a 10-point plan, which was amazing. And I attended some of the events, Basic Need Resource Fair, World Cultural Fairs, Block Party, and of course the Garba Night, which you can see the picture at the very end. That's very colorful and pretty. And I have done 3 tablings so far, including the summer as well. And here is here's a picture. Perfect. And for the, as of 10/6, the 6th of October, we have received 53 clubs approval, so they got $600 in their club account. So the remaining balance for dog funding is 113,200. Kidding. And for the strategic priority, we have the total funding for 7,500, but as of today's meeting, we have approved 2 legislations so far, so we have a sum of 6,675. And here is my strategic priority updates, and the last, I have done 6 presentations so far.
Would you like to add anything else?
This picture, I guess. We had Sandra.
What a great picture to add. Any questions? Ashton?
Sorry, it's great, by the way. This is one of the questions on the clubs. Is it possible to
Can you hear me, guys? There you go. I just want to say that everyone looks so great. The guy on the right is handsome.
Oh.
But is it possible that for the dog funding, $600, is it possible for the club to get $580 and not $600? Or not the total $600?
Such
Great question, isn't it? Sorry.
No, so we came up with $600 for a purpose, so I cannot see the reason of doing 580.
Oh, no, sorry. Is it possible for a club to get $580?
Like on top of 600?
No.
Like instead of 600?
Yeah, for some reason, I don't know why. A club.
Why 20 less then?
No, a club came up to me and asked, they got 580 or other clubs got 600.
I would like to, if Jen allows, I would like to have her bid.
So it's a reimbursement grant. So
Okay.
pretty much how much ever you spend is what you get back. So if they want to spend 580, they'll get the 580.
All right, our time is up for questions. We'll move on to the next one, which is Alec Tong, and he'll be getting 1 minute and 30 seconds to present his report because it was turned in late.
Hi, folks. I'm Alec, VP of University Affairs. Basically, my report, the events, meetings, presentations, office hours are more or less the same. I'd like to highlight my activities in the internal committees, which is the Wellness, Safety, Sexual Assault Awareness Committee. We are currently compiling a huge list of all the campus resources, whether it's affinity centers, mental health, wellness, safety, or anything that relates to student success, compiling a huge list, and hopefully by the end of the semester we can publish it and share it to everyone. Additionally, I'd like to add this document into my VPUA op rules under the Wellness, Safety, Sexual Assault Awareness Committee, so that future VPUAs can also maintain this list and keep students informed. Aside from that, I am appointed to the Union Well Board and the Sexual Violence Awareness Team. We had 1 meeting so far, and as of late, the Mexican Independence Day Food Pantry Pop-Up and Women Resource Center with Dr. Wood has been really fun events that I pretty much enjoyed. So, and weekly events as well. If you guys have any weekly events, please send my way. I make weekly reels to inform students.
You have a minute for questions. Would you like to add anything else? All right. Moving on to the next one, which is for our Vice President of AA. You also have a minute and 30 seconds to present your report.
Okay, so there's my general information, my office location, office hours, my contact information. So I'll be talking about the Student Academic Senate. We had 2 meetings since the beginning of the semester. As of now, we have 12 members. We introduced ourselves, got to know each other. We appointed our Vice Chair, Cedra Nawas, and Secretary Maya Liam. The members shared some issues that they have been experiencing as students that we would like to focus on for the semester. We also went over the Faculty Senate agenda. Moving to the University Committee updates, a little highlights about the Faculty Senate Executive Committee. Some highlights are that happened during our meeting was a presentation from Dr. Siddles Tidwell on September 19th. She went over the implementation of the Anti-Racism and Inclusion Campus Action Plan. She showed us the AICP report on how it has been going. She mentioned that one of the goals is for students to build leadership with an anti-racism and inclusive mindset. We want this movement we want it to be a moment, not a moment, but a movement. The Faculty Senate, some highlights there. We talked about the CAP radio that we all know about, and the amendment to the drop-in withdrawal policy, Academic Policies Committee. We went over and added the core syllabus policy and excused absence policy. We'll be voting on it to submit it to the Faculty Senate. And then the strategic priorities, as of right now, we're working to meet and share what we have been working on individually. My office hours, I've been back in the office since 9/18, and you'll see everything that I'm working on right there. That's it? Okay.
Would you like to add anything else?
Yes.
All right.
So you can see what I've been working on, and I'm also making up my office hours. And then you'll see all of my meetings that I've been through in September and October. So out of all my meetings, I would like to talk about October 2nd, where I went to President Wood and ASI Student Listening Forum. I spoke about the lack of studying spaces for students with children. I mentioned how there was only one room located in the library. I also talked about how we can possibly add the EBT CalFresh card here on campus, and that's something that we're working on. Another event would be the meet and greet. I had a really good time at this event. I connected with a lot of administrators, and we are working on what I just spoke about, the study spaces and the CalFresh EBT benefits. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Okay, seeing none, we'll now move on to our ex officio and advisor reports. Our first one is from our university CFO designee, Gina Curry.
Good afternoon. I have just 3 items, 2 of which you have been high in mind, so I'm going to concentrate on the first one, which is Student Fee Advisory Committee. Proposal forms are available, and the reason why this is important to the board is because ASI is a fee that could be changed, increased, decreased during this cycle. And so it's important to note that that's something that's that could be under consideration, and there's a deadline to do so. And that is November 13th. So if that's anything that is of interest, working with Finance and Budget, the DFA, and the ED, is to take a look at that and decide if that's something you want to do by that deadline of November 13th. And then the committee will begin its work and start looking at any proposals that come through based on those deadlines, and we'll be selecting fees for audit, as Sachi mentioned, on October 20th. My other information is on the multi-year tuition proposal. I did put a link on there if you're interested in understanding a little bit more, but I know that this has been in a large discussion as a wider group, so you're probably getting information from everywhere. In addition to that, Capital Public Radio, I'm on a broader team of folks working on the financial aspects of that and the compliance of the audit. And there will be more information coming as it's unfolding, because it's all in process, developing and trying to figure out how to make sure we can keep Capital Public Radio up and running.
Okay, thank you. Would you like to add anything else? Are there any questions? Okay, let's move on to we are skipping over Bill because he is not here, so we'll move on to our last one, which is Sandra Gallardo, our Executive Director. Our Executive Director.
Hi. And I thought the Director of Finance also submitted one, but maybe he didn't make it.
I have it available. But
okay, so we'll share it to the board. Sorry. Okay, quick update. I won't read it out because I do a detailed update for you all, but I did want to highlight a couple things. I did post the 23-24 strategic goals from all ASI. That includes all of your strategic priorities, but every single one of my divisions has stated their goals for the year, and all of those can be found at the link there. So you go to the most of 23-24 strategic goals, and you'll find Peak Adventures, Aquatic Center, Children's Center. They have all listed their goals that they're going to accomplish over the course of the year. I continue to work on the annual report, and hopefully I'll be able to share that out electronically at our next my next update. Big news for us, as you all know, that Big Accounting Services is welcoming Juan to our team as the Director of Finance. And I did also put in a link to the Clifton Larson audit report. It's available online now, so please go check it out. We did get the presentation at the first board meeting, and now it's live on our website. So I welcome anybody to go. And if you have any questions, you can go to Juan and ask. So sorry to volunteer you, Juan. Just quick updates for the Aquatic Center. I do monthlies about what our rental numbers are looking like, and you'll see that we're entering our quieter season. So you'll see August where our numbers are in the 5,000. September it goes now to 27, and I predict October will go down. You'll see Children's Center, what our enrollment looks like. Big news is the diaper distribution. Please continue to share that out, that we do have anybody, it doesn't have to be a student, any community member or campus member can go to the Children's Center and pick up 50 free diapers every month. And we're offering size 3, 4, and 5, which are the most expensive ones. And just a couple more highlights of just events to coming that I'm inviting you all to: the shuttle to Barnflicks and the Harvest Open, the Harvest Fest Open Climb on October 26th, and then have a Monster Mash ad later for homecoming. So just please feel free to look at it. I'm sending even listening hours for KSSU. So just an update of all the different programs, and I welcome all of you to go to my board report and look at it, and just some meetings that I attend.
Time. Would you like to add anything else? Are there any other questions? All right. Now let's move on to the next item on our agenda, which is our special presentation, which is an overview of
Juan's presenting, but he just didn't.
Oh, just kidding. Would you like to present?
Hello. Can you hear me? Hello, everyone. I will send this to the board, the digital copy, but I was just going to read out the report that I prepared. Basically, some of the items that we have for this month is that we have finalized our 22-23 year-end audit, ASI audit report, and it's been filed with the Chancellor's office. And now it's posted on the website, so if you're interested in knowing our situation, financial security, can go there. And we just want to thank our business administration staff for all the hard work in doing this. Of course, I was not here when you stand, so I can't take any credit on this one. So another item is ASI is also in the process of completing an audit with the Children's Centers and present our report with the auditors, Cliff Larson Allen, CLA we call them. And this report will be due to the California Department of Education by December 15th of this year. Another item is that ASI is also extending our current cap and gown contract with Justin for another year. And then we will do an RFP next year to either keep or look for a new vendor for that. We also staff the accounting service staff at ASI is also in the process of compiling the information return. We call it 990 tax return for nonprofit. And working with the Aquatic Center and Peak Adventures, just make sure we identify all the operations that might be deemed as unrelated business item, because that's part of the item that the government will look into, how we are getting our money and how we're spending our money to make sure we are serving the purpose, the mission of the student. And then the last item is just, hi, I'm the new Director of Finance, replacing Mark Montalvo, who retired, but just last month. So, as far as some of the Yes, thank you. Some of the committee meetings that I've attended to, one of them is the Finance Convention Committee last week, and I've learned a lot about how you guys do things here. I've also was with the management work team yesterday. You know, my partners in helping ASI serve the student. And also was a part of the food pantry advisory, just being very impressed in learning about how we're serving students.
Would you like to add anything else?
No, nothing.
Are there any other questions? Okay, moving on to our next item, we have a special presentation of the overview of OGA 2223 legislation by Sidra, our ASI Legislative Affairs Coordinator. Sidra, if you can please sign your name and all other credentials. Thank you.
Hold it for a few seconds.
Hello. There you go. Just gonna lift this a bit. Okay. Hi everyone. My name is Sidra Nawaz. I'm the Legislative Affairs Coordinator here, and I do this presentation every year to the board to introduce myself, the Office of Governmental Affairs in general, the other positions that work with me, and some of the work that we did highlighting bills and advocacy last year. So, we can go to the next slide. Oh, I have to. Okay. All right, so who is part of OGA? OGA stands for the Office of Governmental Affairs, and it's comprised of 3 positions. The first is Legislative Affairs Coordinator, which is me, the CSSA Liaison, and the Civic Engagement Coordinator. Those other 2 positions are vacant, so it's just me right now. But some of what we do, I'm Chair Lobby Corps, which is our political advisory committee, and the CSSA Liaison is the vice chair to that position. And a big part of both of our goals is to track higher education legislation and make sure that we are advocating on behalf of students. The CSSA Liaison does that at the Cal State Student Association meetings with Natalie, and I do that at my committee in Lobby Corps. The CSSA Liaison also sits on the board with you guys as the advisory for OGA and represents all 3 of us and what's going on and updates you all on the work that we're doing. The Civic Engagement Coordinator helps with voting and voter registration and making sure that students are civically engaged, that they're educated on all things related to voting and some of the issues that are going on locally, especially through city ambassadors, which is a committee that deals with local legislation. So I work on state legislation, and I schedule all meetings with legislators. So next semester, there will be an opportunity for all of you to attend the California Higher Education Student Summit, which is also called the CHESS Conference. And I schedule meetings with legislators so that all of us can attend and advocate on behalf of some of the key issues that that CSSA has decided to focus on. Last year we had a really great turnout, and all of you guys get to attend for free, and then we do provide a scholarship for students at large to attend. So do keep that in mind, and when we get closer to it, think of students who might be interested in it, since this is a really great opportunity that not all students get to have. So. I also want to highlight that something I do for you all is work on resolutions with you guys. That's part of your role, that you might have various resolutions come up, and I send them out for you all, and also I work on legislative resolutions with all of you. Okay, so I just want to go over a little bit about the state legislative process, since not everybody here may know about it, and be able to visualize how it works with our academic calendar, since their calendar is very different from ours. So session opens at the beginning of the year. So on January 3rd of 2024, they will begin session. And that's when when legislators author bills. So they come up with a variety of different issues that are important to them. They write bills and they get sponsorship, support. They edit the bills tremendously over the course of months. And these bills can originate from either the Assembly or the Senate. And they go through committee hearings and floor hearings until they land on the governor's desk. So bills get to the governor's desk around September, so that was just last month. A lot of the bills were put on his desk, and now they are currently on his desk waiting to be signed or vetoed. His deadline's in 2 days, so we're going to find out in the next couple of days. We already are finding out a lot of the higher education bills and what the decision is on all of them. And for the next couple months, they're not going to be in session, so this gives us time to kind of prepare, look at what our successes and some losses were in terms of what we wanted to be passed, and then we can organize and prepare for the next session starting January. So I just want to go over some of the legislation we worked on. This is a comprehensive list of everything that we took positions on Lobby Corps. We did discuss some other bills, but we didn't end up taking positions on them. And then bills that have, and the 2 stars next to them are bills that we wrote resolutions on. So the last year's board and myself, we wrote 9 resolutions on legislation, which is pretty good. And we were able to advocate on those. So just to clarify, Lobby Corps can take a stance on any number of bills, but that doesn't mean that we can go out and advocate for those stances on behalf of Sac State students without going through you all and having the ASI board actually take an official stance of supporting or opposing a bill. And that's the only way that our meetings with legislators can actually be effective. So those resolutions, sending them out, getting them written in a timely manner, and also writing as many as we can on the issues that are important plays a big role in the spring semester. So that is a little bit of a breakdown of how it goes. So Lobby Corps takes a stance whether or not to support or oppose a bill. And then I will bring the bill to you all, and this is kind of where we get to know each other over the course of the year and find out what interests you, because I want you all to be able to write resolutions that are related to your personal interests as well. So if financial aid is very important to you, or you've made, a promise to students that you're going to take action on basic needs or financial assistance, then this is your opportunity to work on those issues with me, write a resolution, you guys vote on it, and then we can all advocate on behalf of that issue. So I selected a few key bills that we can go over. The first one is AB 311. This bill was going to remove the age cap of 55 years of age for the California Food Assistance Program. A lot of students are non-traditional students or undocumented students who this could have helped. This was supported by CSSA, and we wrote a resolution on it with last year's president, Samuel Pacheco, Lex Estrella, and Adderall Ayutuan. And we did a lot of advocacy on this in the Capitol as well. However, the committee hearing for it was canceled back in June, so this bill did not move forward. AB 656, authored by Assemblymember McCarty, was proposing that the CSU create doctoral programs and offer them. They would not be overlapping with what UC provides, but it is important to note that the CSU is a system that retains employers and students throughout grad school and then in their careers. So doctoral programs was a really great opportunity for students to continue being in the CSU system and get a degree that wasn't previously offered. This bill was enrolled and presented to the governor on the 19th of September, so we'll see if he signs it. Oh, you just did? Okay, there we go. Yeah, some of them are not, the presentation was like a few days old. SB 260 by Senator Menjivar. This one was a result of a lot of advocacy over years. We had a bill a couple years ago about menstrual products in universities. A lot of our clubs on campus actually advocated for that bill. So this bill was really inspired by a lot of the work that students did for providing menstrual products on our schools. And this would create a money allocation in CalWorks for menstrual products. It was supported by a lot of organizations, USSA, Alliance for Girls. We wrote a resolution on it. Veronica wrote a resolution on it with me last year. And unfortunately, it was held in committee on September 1st, so it did move forward. But that was also to be expected since it did have a high cost. And a lot of the bills that we are seeing that didn't progress forward will be because of the cost of them. AB 888 was a bill that would have provided immigrants seeking asylum with financial aid. Currently, they do not, since a non-citizen who hasn't been here for 3 years doesn't receive financial aid. So this would really help the recent refugees, immigrants who've come recently in the country and are now pursuing higher education, which is actually a lot of them. And some of them are educated in their previous countries, but then when they come here, those degrees don't transfer, so they have to get educated again. So this was really important for us to support. Veronica wrote the resolution on this one, and unfortunately it was held under submission on September 1st. Again, the funding for this one was dubious, so we did not see that go through. Oops. All right, SB 9, this was a resolution. We did a lot of research on this. We met with partners on campus to check how this would impact students and how foster care is valuable to people over 18 because it provides protections and an easier transition for them into adulthood. So it would change the year that they would transfer out, to kind of move out of the foster care system from 18 to 21. And this one was referred to the Committee on Appropriations on June, so that's the committee that deals with the cost of bills, so it is unsurprising that it was held there. AB 789, this one actually was just signed into law, I think yesterday or the day before. This was a huge effort on behalf of all students in California. This was supported by CSSA. This one, this bill will establish minimum standards related to SAP, which is the Satisfactory Academic Progress policies. So students that don't meet their grades one semester, who maybe struggled in COVID, who had any variety of issues come up, they were not able to receive financial aid. And the regulations around when you receive financial aid due to SAP, when it's taken away, if you're allowed back into school, those varied across the CSU system. About 20 out of 23 CSU systems or universities provide different rules for this. So it's not even across the board. And we found that some schools had much harsher qualifications than other schools, and there's only one federal standard. So this bill will do an investigation on all of those, make sure everyone is compliant with one standard, and that we are making sure that students who don't meet grades are able to still receive financial aid. SB 808 is a bill that really addressed a lot of issues just about the mismanagement of Title IX violations in the CSU system. This bill came in strong response to what happened with Chancellor Castro and his investigations. It was supported by CSSA. We wrote a resolution on it. Veronica and Justin last year worked on that one and with me, and then this was enrolled on September 7th to the governor. And it's passed, yes, that one's been passed for a while. SB 11, this one was a big bill that made a lot of noise last year, so I did want to include it and just kind of explain the process of this bill and how it changed over time. So originally, the way it was proposed and the way that, and the text that Lobby Corps specifically took a stance on in opposition was the original text that stated to create a requirement for the CSU to no longer be able to contract out to workers for mental health and only use the workers that are under bargaining in the CSU system, and it would have created some programs that had no budgetary ask from the legislature. So if this did pass into law and potentially starting being enforced, where would the money come from? Probably student tuition. So for those reasons, we had opposed the bill. Eventually, the bill changed into that, where it created a program for Mental Health Professionals Fund. It would be funded by the legislature. It would establish a requirement for CSUs to have one counselor per 1,500 students and include cultural competent care. But because the budget was coming from the legislature, it was unlikely to pass, so its first hearing was actually canceled by the author. So I mentioned this before, but Governor Newsom's deadline is in 2 days, so any remaining bills, we'll find out what happens with them in a couple of days, and then we will reconvene on January 3rd. So next semester we will start all over again with a fresh new set of bills. From what we can tell right now, some of the bills that you can look forward to seeing are going to surround around financial aid reform. AB 789 was a great win, so that will probably be continued, especially in light of the CSU tuition increase, cost of college, basic needs, affordable housing. There've been affordable housing bills for the past many years, so it'll probably continue, and also equity. And that is all I have for you.
Just a reminder to keep questions short and limit them. Are there any questions? Okay, seeing none, thank you, Sidra. We'll now move on to announcements. Are there any announcements? Veronica? Just kidding. Christian. Oh my God, Chris. So sorry.
I don't even want to make my announcement. I'm joking. But I announce this every week, but our next food work group is this Friday. So if you are interested, please reach out to me by the end of the day today so we can get you on that agenda. They're working towards getting things changed in the dining commons because there were a lot of complaints that we received last semester and last year that UEI did not take into consideration last year, but due to the pressuring of my organization as well as the students on campus, we are having a lot more changes happening, and so I invite you guys to come. Please let me know by the end of the day so we can get you on that list. And also Dance Marathon's next Friday. It's from 9 to 12, so we're working really hard on it, so along with KSSU, so please come out.
Thank you. Veronica?
Okay, I have a couple. First, I just want to say, I want to make a general announcement. So I know this was taking an adjustment in the beginning, but I do think we need to start practicing to move all ASI communication to email. This was something that was told to us by Tammy during our parliamentary training in the beginning. When we first got into these positions, it's been reiterated multiple times. We shouldn't be having ASI business conversations on our personal devices. Next thing, please, no technology at the board meetings. I've caught a couple people previously having technology, and the only people allowed to have them is our parliamentary and Javier and Emily, of course. And this is mainly to avoid any colluding or allegations of colluding during our voting. So it's very important that no one has their phones out or is using technology. The last thing that I want to say is I want you guys to really take care of yourselves because I've been doing some one-on-ones and noticing that a lot of people are getting overwhelmed around this time, and midterms are happening and people are going through a lot of things, and I get it. You know, this is a very hard time. So I do want you guys to please take care of yourselves and communicate with us if there is anything going on. You are students first, and you can't be in these positions if you're not, doing well in your school as well, and that's the priority. So please check in with us, connect with us, and let us know if there's anything we can do on the ASI side to make things a little bit easier. And then the last thing I will say is we are going to have an exec meeting right after this. You don't have to stay for the exec meeting, but I would like you guys to be back here at 3:45. We are going to go over, me and Natalie are going to go over some just office etiquette, just that kind of basic stuff that, we think we should reiterate to the board. And then on top of that, we want to do, if we have time, a quick legislation training, because this will be the time that I think people are going to start wanting to write resolutions and get more involved on that end, which is great, but I don't want you guys to do that if you don't know how to write a resolution yet or how to submit it to file hold. So I want to do a quick training if we have time. So please come back to this room at 3:45 p.m. Thank you.
Natalie?
So like how Veronica said, we will have exec meeting, but if you all do want to stay, because we're going to have a presentation by Andrea Terry, who is going to present a great proposal. So if you guys want to come and hear that out, you're more than welcome to. And then just as a reminder, if there's anything that you do want to address to the executive committee, make sure you're telling Rosa. She does sit on the exec team and she has a part in the agenda where she can voice those concerns. Last two things, there is a campus safety forum that is being held by the Presidential Task Force on October 17th from 12 to 1:15 in the Union Ballroom. I posted it on my Instagram, the ASI main page has posted it, so if you all can do that outreach, send it to your college deans, to student orgs, or any way that you can get that information out on your bulletin board. Please make sure you're doing that. And then lastly, for CSSA travel, the 2 in-person ones are already booked. So Cal Maritime and SLO are both booked. So then the next one that is available for you all is the one that's held at Sac State. So if you want to attend that one, please let me know as soon as possible. It's first come, first serve. And if you do choose to do CSSA online, remember you have to attend for 3 hours, and I can see when you hop on and you leave. So full 3 hours for that to be counted for strategic priorities.
Veronica?
Oh, and just, you will have to also show proof that you were there. So Natalie will be there to check it, but I would like you guys to show proof. So I will be sending out an email of what that proof that you were there for the full 3 hours looks like.
Any other announcements?
Sam?
Rosa and I have confirmed our kickoff date. It will be on November 9th in the Redwood Room from 11 to 2 p.m. So please put that on your calendar.
Okay, any other announcements? I move to adjourn this meeting at 3:06 p.m.